That was a very entertaining DCEU film. I had a very good time watching The Flash. Hello everybody, welcome to my review of The Flash, a new superhero movie that came out in theaters. And actually a superhero movie I was very excited to see for a long time. It's a superhero movie that had a really tough production. It had many delays because of the COVID crisis. There were some reshoots because people had other ideas for the movie. So for many years we were really waiting for the Flash movie. And there was also some controversy about the main actor, the actor that plays the Flash. But in this video I'm not gonna talk about that controversy, not at all. I'm just gonna focus on the movie. And it's the most recent movie in the DCEU. A very wacky franchise to say. Because in this franchise of superhero movies, we have movies that are really can be seen as masterpieces, at least in my opinion. There are some other movies that are really fun, entertaining flicks. And the franchise also has some big disappointments. So a very interesting franchise. And for me, The Flash can be considered as one of those fun, entertaining movies because the movie did not disappoint for me. It was a very entertaining watch. And it's directed by a horror director, Andy Muschietti. He already directed some horror movies like Mama, but also the both It movies, both Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. And now he made The Flash with Ezra Miller as The Flash, but also with Ben Affleck, Sasha Calle and Michael Keaton. And it's a long-awaited movie. Was happy to see this movie, but we already knew the character of the Flash. He was already briefly introduced in Batman v Superman, and we already saw him in Zack Snyder's Justice League. He was a part of the team in Justice League. So we already knew about this character, and now he got his solo film. So they could not really do the origin story, because that would be a bit weird, but they did it in some clever way in this movie. I think the origin of the Flash was really done perfectly in this movie actually. But the movie is actually more about a very well known Flash story, and that is the Flashpoint Paradox. And what is it about? Well, it's actually a story in which Barry Allen, the real name of the Flash, who lost his mother is murdered, and his father is accused for the murder. And he wants to go back in time to save his mother. So he does that. He goes back in time, he saves his mother, but doing that he creates another timeline. And he got stuck in the past time. He's stuck in the year 2013, in which he's 18 years old. The only problem is that 18-year-old him is already there. So there are two Barry Allens. And the older Barry Allen, this is the Barry Allen we know, is trying to figure out to go back to his timeline, to his time. And that's what the movie is about. And I think I do not really know the Flashpoint Paradox. I have seen some things of it. I know the big lines of that storyline, but I think they have done the Flashpoint Paradox in this movie justice. I think it was a good adaptation of that storyline. At least I was very captivated by the story. As soon as the movie started, all the way to the end, I was very investigated in the story, and I had no idea what was going to happen after each scene. So there were some surprises in this movie also. So it's a very interesting superhero movie to watch. and it gave me a great time, mostly because the action scenes of the superheroes were very cool to see. Great action, also good plot, like I said before. It also has an emotional impact. There are certain scenes, especially one scene between Michael Keaton Batman and older Barry Allen. That was a very emotional scene, a very well done scene actually. But the big pro for me in this movie was the comedy. The comedy in The Flash really works for me. And that is not for granted, because a lot of superhero movies try to be funny, but most of them fail. The comedy just don't land in every superhero movie. But in The Flash, I think it was very hilarious, especially some scenes. Like older Barry Allen in the beginning of the movie, he is this really awkward person. And because he's so awkward, it's actually funny to watch him doing all these things in his daily life, and that results in some really funny scenes. There are some scenes that I really had to laugh at the theater, so yeah, big plus on that. And also, when older Barry Allen and younger Barry Allen are together in scenes, their interactions are hilarious. So even though I think younger Barry Allen is a bit annoying, certainly in the beginning of the movie, but that's basically the point of the character, so not really a con for that. It's a very hilarious movie. So great action, hilarious, emotional impact, all positive things, but a big positive on this movie was actually the return of Michael Keaton. Also one of the reasons why this movie is so anticipated by a lot of people, and it did not disappoint to see Michael Keaton back as the Batman. He's actually a very cool Batman. I was not always the biggest fan of Michael Keaton Batman. I had a preference for others like Ben Affleck or Christian Bale. But in this movie, Michael Keaton Batman was awesome. He was amazing and is easily the show stealer of this film. Also, a new character in this movie, Supergirl, played by Sasha Kell. She was awesome too. Interesting character. Really nice to see her in action. And this team in this movie, so Michael Keaton Batman, the two Flashes, and Supergirl, was actually a very fun team, and it was very cool to see them in action. So those were really the positives. But this also brings me to a thought I have with the movie. And what I was thinking when watching the movie is that the movie does not really feel as a Flash movie for me. Like, it starts with the Justice League, or half of the Justice League, with Ben Affleck Batman, Wonder Woman, and Flash fighting crime. So that feels like a Justice League film. Feels like a comedy movie also, with the two Barry Allens interacting with each other. It feels like a Michael Keaton Batman Return movie. But also feels like a Supergirl movie when fighting General Zod again. So it does not really feel like a Flash solo movie. Only like in the third act it really becomes a Flash movie. But that's just a thought that I have. But what I think is a big problem for this movie is that the problem of this movie was released 2 weeks before The Flash came into theaters. And it is the movie Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Because nowadays, all these superhero movies are really about the multiverse, about different timelines, about different versions of the same character. We have that with Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, now with The Flash, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So the multiverse is a really recurring theme nowadays in that genre. And Across the Spider-Verse, which I saw a few days before I saw The Flash, I'm not gonna do a review on that movie. I will do a Spider-Man ranking, probably by the end of next week. So if you're interested for that, keep an eye on my channel, that video is coming. Anyhow, Across the Spider-Verse was a super awesome movie, and I think that movie did the multiverse in the correct way. The Flash did it also very good, but because Across the Spider-Verse is so awesome, so very well done, I was so amazed by that movie that I feel like the Flash is now a bit in the shadow of Across the Spider-Verse. So that's a bit the problem the Flash can have now. It's because Across the Spider-Verse is just the superior movie, if you have to compare the two movies. But anyhow, like I said, I was still very entertained by The Flash. It's a very funny movie. From start to finish, I was really into the story, great action, and I can certainly recommend The Flash movie. Like I said, it's a fun time at the theaters with The Flash, and that was my review. Those are my thoughts on The Flash, without spoiling anything important. Oh yeah, also, there are some interesting cameos in this movie, so that's also that's a big plus. Some were actually very surprising. I did not saw some cameos coming. There were not a lot, but a few. But the few we got were actually very good. So yeah, guys, that was my review. Very fun superhero movie. If you want to have a fun time watching a superhero movie, The Flash is your movie. And as you know, always be free to share your thoughts in the comments, and yeah, till the next time.